This video is going to talk about solving addition equations. And the first thing that you're going to know, and we're going to review this in every video, is there are inverse operations, and these are operations that undo each other. So for example, addition undoes subtraction, and subtraction undoes addition. So if I give you $5, you just added $5, and if I take it back, you've subtracted $5 and nothing changed. You didn't actually get any more money or lose any more money in the end because it was all gone. The subtraction property of equality says that when you subtract the same number from both sides of an equation, the two sides remain equal. So for example, here we have 5 equals 5. And it's true that 5 does equal 5. What happens if I subtract 3 from both sides? Well, 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. And the two sides are still equal. And we're going to be using that property as well as the identity property when we are solving these addition equations. So let's take a look at our first few problems. We have x plus 4 equals 5. In order to solve this problem, in order to figure out what does x mean, we need to get x all alone. In order to get x all alone, I need to take this 4 and get it out. I don't want to know what is x plus 4. I just want to know what is x. So in order to do that, I'm going to subtract 4 from this side. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I have a minus 4 on this side, so I have to go to the other side of the equation and also subtract 4 from that side. That's going to be using my subtraction property of equality in order to make sure that this problem stays the same, that both sides of this equation are still going to be equal to each other so I can actually figure out what x is. Now I know that plus 4 minus 4 ends up to be 0. So this side is going to be x plus 0. This side I have 5 minus 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Carry down that equal sign. Now, my identity property reminds me that adding 0 or multiplying by 1 changes nothing. So if I have x plus 0, I don't need to write plus 0. I can just write x equals 1. This is my final answer. Not 1, x equals 1. So let's go ahead and plug this into my problem and make sure that I solve this correctly. So I have x plus 4 equals 5, but instead of the x, I'm going to put in 1. Does 1 plus 4 equal 5? Sure does, so I know that this answer is correct. Let's go ahead and take a look at 8 equals 3 plus x. Uh-oh, the variable's on a different side this time. Changes nothing. You still do the same thing. So I have this 3 hanging out here that I really don't need. And how do I get rid of 3 things? I take them away. So I'm going to subtract 3 here. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm also going to subtract 3 from this side. And I'm left with 8 minus 3 is 5 on this side. Carry down that equal sign. 3 minus 3 is 0. Carry down the plus x. I don't need 0 plus x. I know that adding 0 won't change anything. So this is just going to be x. This side will be 5, so my final answer is 5 equals x. Let's go ahead and double check that. My original problem was 8 equals 3 plus x. Take out the x, put in 5. 3 plus 5 is 8, so it looks like I'm good to go. Let's take a look at a word problem. Allison and Stella decided to go swimming one day. Allison swam 575 meters. This is 150 more than what Stella swam. So we need to figure out how far did Stella swim. And we are going to figure this out by writing out an equation. Here's what we know. We know that Allison swam 575 meters. we know that it's 150 more than what Stella swam. So we know that we're going to be taking 150 and adding it to what Stella swam, and I'm going to choose to make what Stella swam, I'm going to choose to make that an x. So now Stella's number is an x. So 150 plus Stella's distance gets us 575, or gets us Allison's distance. Now to figure out how far Stella swam, we need to solve this equation. So we have 150 on this side. We need to get rid of it to get that x all alone. So let's take 150 out of both sides of the equation to make sure it stays equal. Here you have 0 plus x, which is just going to equal x. Now we have 575 minus 150. I strongly suggest that you do any math, any figuring off to the side. It just makes your problem look a lot cleaner, and it helps to make sure that you're able to backtrack easier. 5 minus 0 is 0, 765. That gets us 425. To double check that, if 425 was x, that would be 425 plus 150, and that would get us our 575. So we know that Stella swam 425 meters. What you're going to do for homework is you are going to solve 19 equals x plus 7. I would like you to tell me what x stands for.